Seltzer Kings
podcasts.
It's the 2024 Holiday Gift Bowl at the Johnson's house. They're unwrapping it, and wow, Tommy John!
Tommy John pajamas! These could go on right now! Yes!
Peter, with Tommy John, you are the GOAT, greatest gifter of all time. What were you thinking?
Owe it all to Tommy John. With their best pair you'll ever wear or it's free guarantee, they're the real MVP.
Shop Tommy John Cyber Monday sale now. Save 40% site-wide at TommyJohn.com/Spotify. See site for details.
Angel, you have the power to do real good, to make amends. But if you die now, then all that you ever were was a monster. Angel, please, the sun is coming up.
Just go.
I won't.
Don't you think this is simple? You think there's an easy answer? You can never understand what I've done. Now go.
You are not staying here. I won't let you.
Am I a thing worth saving, huh? Am I a righteous man? The world wants me gone.
What about me? I love you so much. And I tried to make you go away. I killed you and it didn't help. And I hate it. I hate that it's so hard.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Buffy. We're just two boys who have watched every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And now we're rewatching some stuff, seeing if there's any additional insight on these episodes. We're your hosts. I am Joe Welke.
I am Vance.
And today we're going to be talking about Season 3, Episode 10, Amends, written and directed by Joss Whedon. The original air date was December 15th, 1998. And before we get into this episode, we've got some quick shout-outs. Shout-outs. We got a shout-out for Courtney Sebesta, who did a little double dip. She gave a Apple Podcast 5-star review and a Spotify 5-star review. So thank you, Courtney Sebesta.
Yeah, and we have a shout-out to Robin, who got us something off the Amazon wish list. A little PlayStation Store gift card. Already utilized part of that for something, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah. So there's your shout outs of the week, everybody. If you want to get a shout out, 5-star Apple Podcast rating and review, 5-star Spotify, take a screenshot of it, send it in to us. And also that Amazon wish list situation. Join our Discord. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/Boys Watching Buffy. We're doing Boys Watching Angel. Angel's interesting this week.
Yeah. And
Angel's interesting.
And we should announce the movie that we're doing.
Oh, yeah. We're doing Jawbreaker. I think if you're in the Discord, you already know.
Yeah. But we're doing Jawbreaker on Patreon this month. Starring
one of the
Julie Benz, Darla.
One of the few times we put out a poll, say, hey, what do you want us to watch? We see what the overarching theme is, and we go, you know what, fuck it. Let's give the people what they want.
I think we've given the people what they want a bunch, because I don't think we wanted to do Scooby-Doo as much as everyone else.
Yeah, fair enough. So look out for Jawbreaker. Join the Discord. Join the Patreon. And all that jazz. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. You know, I'm gonna make it through.
I'm worried about it. It's hot as fuck in LA right now.
Well,
it is record-breaking heat,
and very fitting for this episode.
Absolutely. I was driving around last night. It was 8:30 at night, and it was 102 degrees. And I was like, man, I could use some Amends snow right now.
Insane.
All right, let's pop these suckers. I am double dipping on Dream Float. I think I had Dream Float last week. I'm going again.
I am watermelon bursting it up.
Yeah. I saw it. I reached for watermelon today.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'll save it. I'm going to save it. Watermelon's my favorite. I'm the type of person that like eats the least favorite thing first and then saves the favorites for last. Not saying that this is bad. This Dream Float's pretty damn good. But watermelon, that shit is banging.
Yeah, it's the best one. And the Skittle one, it's just, it
Skittle
gets the job done.
Yeah,
it's the
Skittle
job done.
one, it does not fuck around.
It does something to your day.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw the Skittle one. I was like, am I going to have that kind of day today? I don't think so.
Yeah, you got to plan accordingly.
So Amends. Everyone knows where I have been standing on this. I refer to Amends as the episode that nobody likes. And going into this rewatch, I was like, kind of, not going to lie, dreading it. But it felt like it was an important rewatch. It was the first appearance of the first evil, which came out to be like the big bad of season 7. And ultimately, yeah, I mean, the entire show, that's the lasting impression. That was the last big bad that we saw. So I was dreading going back and watching Amends. And I got to say, going back and watching this, not as bad as I thought.
It's an okay episode.
Yeah, you know. Maybe season 7 just kicked the shit out of me.
I still have my same issues with the ending. Because I went back and listened to our podcast about this. Before I get into that, I want to say this is another Josh Whedon written and directed episode, just like Restless, which is, so it's interesting that we did back-to-back Josh episodes. Wasn't our intention, just happened that way.
I'm gonna call you out, broccoli in the teeth moment here. Joss, not Josh.
Oh, did I say Joss?
Yeah, I think you said Josh.
Okay. Yeah. This episode is between Wish and Gingerbread. It's just really sandwiched in between there. And we were coming off the Wish controversy. This episode has the Wish follow-up, the fallout, the aftermath. Yeah. I
mean, this is like, we did this episode like in the early days of our Discord, because I don't think that we got a Discord.
We did not give a shout out to Discord, and you were plugging stand-up at the Comedy Chateau.
There you go. That's how old that is.
Yeah. We were talking about Doctor Strange and everything, everywhere, all at once.
Multiverse of Madness. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Simpler times. Back when Angel didn't have his own show.
Yeah.
Back when Buffy had bangs. And you know what? I know I talked about this on the podcast. The bangs aren't that bad, everybody.
The bangs are terrible. Those little things are terrible. And those 2 scenes, they're terrible. I don't care what you say. She's admitted it.
I will stand on that. I'll stand on that.
Sarah Michelle Gellar herself said no.
It looks punk rock, man. I dig it.
No. If she was going for punk rock, maybe. If that was her vibe, if it didn't change back to just being casual throughout the episode to normal.
That was weird. Now that was weird.
So when you see those bangs, that is not Buffy. That has never been Buffy. And those things are terrible. It's like,
well, agree to this. It reminds me of Hayley Williams in her early days of being the Paramore singer back when they were pop punk. I'll stand on it. Agree to disagree. I think they're not that bad.
Terrible. They're terrible. The accent, the Irish accent, just is still bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad that it's funny.
It's been a while since I've been reminded of Angel's like old Irish accent.
Yeah.
Oh, why don't you make a scene for him, will you?
You did ask the question, why does he not have it anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, Spike still has his.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, man. I mean, there are people that, you know, they'll originally have an accent and then they'll move to like America, and their accent will fade a little bit.
Yeah.
but not completely like that. Like,
and he moved to like America like 40 years ago, 20 years ago or something. Like not that much.
What I'm more interested in is like his giant lion's mane hairdo where he's looking like Mufasa. Like if you were to comment about some hair.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know what the time was like in the 1800s, you know? So I can't.
Yeah, true. Like the scene where he is harassing that like help lady, and then he goes full vamp face. Like I don't know if I said this on the original podcast, but he looks like Beast from Beauty and the Beast.
You may have brought that up.
I feel like I've said that in other podcasts with his like ponytail that he sometimes has, but he looks like an animal, and it kind of gets it across because he was an animal when he was Angelus. Like he was a fucking brutal, ruthless guy.
I brought up in the previous podcast that it seems that everyone knows that vampires exist because the guy he bites in the beginning and this lady don't really freak out the way you should when someone turns vamp face. She's like, but my kid. I'm like, that guy's face just morphed in front of you. Why are you not screaming? Is this a vampire party?
I feel like maybe the first guy did know because it seemed like he and Angel had a history where he's like, oh, it's your debt. It's your debt, Daniel.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, man. They just shove a guy into a dark Dublin alley, and who knows what happens. Anything is possible in those dark Dublin alleys.
Yeah.
That's what happened with Angel and Darla, right? She brought him to a dark alley.
It wasn't that dark, and they were right in the middle of it. And she was, I think, wearing mostly bright. Was she wearing white or something? She stood out, I should say.
Yeah. She was, But I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is the episode that made Jenny Calendar not ever want to return to Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
This is why she didn't return for Restless. At least. And then at that point, I'm sure Joss was like, well then, no mas.
Yeah, because the actress Robia Lamort, I don't know if it's over the course of this, but she was like a super like religious thing, and she came on to do this episode not knowing that she was going to be playing the embodiment of all evil. And then she was like doing it and was like, I don't ever want to fucking do this again.
I will say, the character says an embodiment of all evil, but I don't really see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Especially the way it ends. I will say the thing that hurts this. There's two things. One, I think her name was Robia Scott, I believe, when she was actually making this. She got married or something, probably. I think if she was in season 7, I would have enjoyed her. I enjoy her take on the first evil. I enjoy people acting against her. I think I probably brought this up before. Like, it'd be cool because she'd be there and then Giles would have to see her, and Angel. I mean, Angel wasn't in there that much, but it just has a lot more weight if it's embodied by Jenny Calendar, as opposed to, I think the decision to have it just be Buffy playing a different version of herself, which I enjoyed her performance as it, but it was just not the same. When the bad is, unless the bad was like, hey, they just made a doppelganger Buffy, which we already had with like Faith, you know?
Yeah.
So I think I would have really liked her to come back and reprise the role of the first evil and do it that way.
Yeah, and I love Jenny Calendar. I thought that she was an awesome character.
Yeah.
And like seeing her here as the first like manipulating Angel and stuff, like it was good.
But also it's the seeds of the first evil being not good at planning are here.
The seeds of the big problem that I came away with watching this episode again is it doesn't feel like a threat. Like the threat is so minimal. This is more of like an existential Angel I think I saw somebody refer to this as like Angel episode 0 for Angel series, because it's like, what am I doing here? What's my purpose and all that stuff, which is what he kind of, the trajectory he kind of goes on in Angel.
Which we're going to get into this week in Angel.
But yeah, the problem that we had with the first evil throughout a lot of season 7 is it's like, it's supposed to be this master manipulator, but it's just very like the threat of this episode isn't like when Buffy shows up and just beats up the Harbingers.
It's so easy.
It's so easy. And then Jenny Calendar's like, oh, I'm skedaddling, and then just like growls at her, and then that's it.
Dead by daylight.
Yeah.
Just giving away your plan. Just again, what the first evil does in season 7, did not learn the lessons. Like, oh, your friends are in trouble. Don't tell Buffy. Then she won't go in and axe. All the potentials will die. The first evil's not even planning to have Angel kill himself in this.
Yeah, like they're like, that wasn't how I was wanting to go with this, but that'll work.
Jeez, you're the first evil. You've been around forever. You like even stories of like the devil like getting people to sell their soul and tricking people, and like the devil like tried to trick like Jesus and stuff like that. That's what this should be based off of.
Yeah,
and you're so bad at manipulating.
Yeah, the like Angel, like so what the first evil's trying to get Angel to do is to like kill Buffy for them, so that they can like rule the world. Like,
it doesn't make any sense. What does killing Buffy do?
Well, yeah, it doesn't make any sense, because the reason why the first evil reappears in season 7, they say, is because Buffy died and it caused a disturbance in the Force or whatever.
I was trying to track that with this and think, okay, Angel died, so Angel came back, so the first evil can show up.
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't understand why the first evil disappears for seasons.
Yeah.
Like seasons.
Like even after season 5, when Buffy dies and like there's the whole disturbance in the balance of good and evil, like that's a season 6 problem. Why'd you wait another extra season?
Why is the first evil not there in season 4?
Yeah.
Why does it want Angel to kill Buffy? I mean, this is so individually like an episode thing that now we're bringing back the last stuff to this.
Yes.
Because they weren't planning. I just don't think Jenny Calendar needs to be the first evil in this. It could just be some other type of monster demon type thing that's haunting. It could be someone that Angel pissed off that wants to haunt him and get back at him.
Yeah.
That's all it needs to be. It doesn't need to be the embodiment of all evil in the world.
I mean, this would be like that monster that the trio, the demon that the trio like brought and fucked with Buffy's mind.
Yeah.
And then like 3 seasons later, they're like, oh, that demon, he's back.
Yeah.
He's the big bad.
And
like, oh, I thought that was like a nothing.
And good luck stopping him. Yeah. It's such a big thing for what it is. And I think this episode fails at doing what it wants to be, a holiday episode.
Yeah.
And it really fails at that to me.
Yeah, the Christmas stuff is like really in the background. I get that it's supposed to be like a hopeful message, but like
that last scene is the worst scene. That like watching that and then listening to us talk about it, I'm like, yeah, no, that scene is very how to say, it's very melodramatic. It has teen drama elements to it. And then they just walk away hand in hand in the snow without solving the problem or even getting to like a middle ground.
Yeah, like them walking hand in hand through the snow is like the image that they want you to that they want to leave with. But literally the scene before was Angel beating up Buffy.
Smacking her around, shaking her. Talking about killing himself, and then they're like, snowflakes. I'll go for a walk outside now. Like,
let me go walk through the soap of the Sunnydale Street.
Oh my God. In the last podcast, you were like, I have two things about this scene. That snow looked fake, and it wasn't cold enough for it to stick. And I was like, my God, that is the most nitpicky shit ever.
There's no way. They said it was in the 70s.
Nitpicky shit ever.
What did I say about Faith?
No, you said that the snow was fake, and that it was not cold enough for the snow to stick.
I mean, the snow, it looks like it's been combed like one of those sand gardens with, you know what I mean?
I've already posted the Dawson Creek snow. It's nothing's worse than that snow.
Yeah, but yeah, like I get that they want to have that like hopeful scene, but it's so hard to do it after Angel just punches Buffy to the ground, and he's like, I am just man. Am I a righteous man?
They don't get to the point of catharsis before the snow.
Yeah.
You gotta like get them on. I don't know why. If the snow doesn't come, and oh my God, the line that they have in this where the news report says the sun's not coming out.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. And we brought this up on the podcast. They cut to everyone being like, wow, it's snow outside, and just looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
You would be terrified. You would be terrified if you knew that you lived in Sunnydale and you're looking outside, you're seeing snow. You're like, is this what happens when a Slayer dies? Like, what is this? Like, honestly, is like the shot of Joyce and Faith looking outside with like, aw. I'm like,
yeah, like they have their hands out, like, oh, just.
I'm like, you do know Buffy's out there trying to fight a vampire, right?
I feel like they're just like walking out there with their tongues out,
Yeah.
like, let's try and catch one. It's like, who knows what kind of world-ending apocalyptic shit's going on?
Yeah. And the sun's not going to come up.
Yeah.
You think vampires don't
man.
like snow?
And again, we say this in our Angel podcast, but this would be national. Like, at least they have local news reporting on this. Like, this would be national news of like the sun decided to not come out. And it's snowing after it, like a 70 degree. Like, it's scorching here in Sunnydale.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
You brought up on the podcast a bunch that they're dressed for winter, though.
Yes. Angel's walking around in like a wool pea coat, and they're like, it's 75 degrees. Like, why? What?
They wanted the image at the end. So, like, if you're just watching this and you're just like letting it wash over you, you're like, oh, he had a happy thing. I'm happy that this relationship is back on track somehow.
Yeah.
You had the quote of the podcast for me, last one. You said, this is not a good relationship. In response to like once he starts smacking her around and fighting, you're like, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking this is not a good relationship. I was like, yeah.
I mean, it's melodramatic as fuck.
Yeah.
Angel's standing there smelling the sunrise.
The acting is not their best. You know, it reminds me of the Zeppo episode when they're arguing. It's that level. Yeah.
Yes. I wanted to say that, like, so in the Zeppo, when Xander's like going through his own like adventure and he goes to try and get Angel and Buffy to help, like Angel and Buffy are having their own melodramatic like soap opera scene, and it's acted the exact same way as the ending of Amends, and Amends is supposed to be taken seriously, but in the Zeppo, it's a joke.
Yeah. Which I do appreciate them making a joke about their own, like, I'm sure they were like, yeah, people know that this is melodramatic. Let's make fun of the melodramatic stuff that we did already because it's already been filmed and released. So all you can do is make fun of it. So I appreciate that they aren't so precious with it as to not make fun of it, you know?
Yeah.
But it's an accurate portrayal because it's
so
the same way. Yeah.
Yeah. And, yeah, just that last, like, I get what they're going for. Like, Angel's like, oh, I'm unforgivable. How can I be forgiven? I've done horrible things and I have to live with that. And he's like, I can't go on. But then when Buffy is like, he's like, the world doesn't want me alive. And Buffy goes, oh, what about me? Like, that could be a powerful moment. But she says it like such a little girl.
And she's on the ground being shook. He's shaking the shit out of her. And I'm just like, yeah, man, I'm sorry. I can't get on board with this. When they first hit each other, it's still shocking.
Yeah. Yeah, because Buffy's like, I won't let you kill yourself. And then Angel's like, oh, yeah? Smack.
It's like, shouldn't be funny, but it's just so over the top.
So I read a theory. I don't know if this is confirmed canon or what.
You know, reading is not a good thing to do.
But I read a theory that the reason the sun did not come out is because in Angel there is a supernatural entity which can sometimes, I guess, be thought of as God, but the powers that be are the ones that stopped the sun from coming out.
No, that's stupid. I'm gonna say that's dumb because Angel has had so many close calls in both series.
Yeah,
and he's had some Deus Ex Machina moments, but he hasn't had that many.
Yeah,
and this will be, a major one.
That's the theory that I read, is that the powers that be are like giving Angel a shot because they know that he can do some good in the world.
Well, here's the thing that this episode leads into kind of we're now watching the last season of Angel, is that he wonders why he's been brought back.
Yeah.
From hell. Like, he just came back randomly because the show was like, yeah, we're going back. And then the first evil...
Oh, wait, you guys like that guy? Fucking give him his own show. Fucking there's money to be made here.
Cha-ching! The first evil claims that she brought him back.
Mm-hmm.
But then Buffy's like, oh, are you going to believe that person? That person that just screamed in my face and flew away and I'll never see for a couple seasons?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then it turns out like the first evil didn't bring him back, maybe? I don't think so. I don't think the first evil brought him back.
The first evil definitely didn't bring him back because I think another part of the theory that I read was that the powers that be are the ones that brought him back.
Yeah, but I mean, if you can bring him back, he can just burn up and you can bring him back.
Exactly. I mean, we
literally saw Angel, that with another vampire.
We've seen Angel do that. We've seen Buffy die twice and come back.
Mm-hmm.
We saw Spike.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of people die and then come back. And you can't bring Joyce back? Come on.
You can bring Joyce back, but you shouldn't.
You can't bring Tara back?
Sometimes dead is better.
Yeah. But, also there's a little bit of continuity errors here with the first evil.
Touching all over Angel.
Yeah. That was like, I was being very like eagle-eyed on that. I was like, all right, let's see what the first evil's like first iteration is. Mm-hmm. So the first evil touches Angel. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no. Mm-hmm. I did forget, but you thought I'd forget?
It was funny because it seemed like Angel was getting tossed around by the first evil in that one scene when he gets thrown on the floor. I was like, did that happen? And then you just start to see her like touch his hand and lower his hand and then touch his head and he reacts to it. Because first I was like, oh, maybe it's like he not fully. But they didn't know what the first evil was going to be about at this point. So I can...
Yeah.
It's something you look at, you notice it, but you can let it slide. It's not the worst thing ever.
Yeah. It's interesting, though, because like the first evil has no issue like going full bore and like just straight up touching Angel. Like you see the first evil touch Angel. But when the first evil appears behind Giles in Giles's house, the first evil does not touch Giles at all. It
Giles
does
can't
like a
even
hand
see
hover.
It. Yeah, Giles can't even see her there.
Yeah, but like if he can't see her or like feel her or whatever, like why wouldn't she just touch him?
I mean, also it's just actors, like they're real people in the scene.
That's all I'm saying. But like, yeah, she like kind of hand hovers over Giles's arms at certain points, but then she's just touching Angel. And also, the Bringers, the Harbingers, they in season 7 have their tongues cut out and they can't talk, but in this one they're all chanting, which is another little error. I mean, it doesn't like break the show or anything.
Yeah, it's nothing.
It's just like
they also can't fight for anything and
dude,
and give up, and Caleb is not around. I guess Caleb slaughtered us. Like it's one of those things where, yeah, the first. I just don't think this needs to be the first evil. It's such a, you can't show the first evil and then they have him disappear and then be like, oh, remember that episode a long time ago? This is the bad guy.
You don't even need a villain doing this to Angel in the first place. Angel could just be haunted by his past.
Yeah.
Like, he did a lot of fucked up stuff, and that does weigh on him throughout both series.
You know what's funny, as I brought up in the Restless rewatch that it could be more of a Christmas Carol thing, Ghost of Christmas. And I also brought that up in the previous podcast about this episode for Amends. Yeah. Because I was like, yeah, it could be, you could make it Christmassy and it could be Angel having to go through his past deeds and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I'm with you that we don't need the first evil to manifest the people he killed to make him feel bad.
Yeah.
The scene when he goes to Giles is wild. Just thinking about that he killed Jenny Calendar and probable ball stuff. And he just shows up on the door like, you're the only one that can help me. Dude, get out of there. Ask someone else. You're an old vampire. You have connections. Do not go to Giles.
I mean, I remember during when we recorded this episode fucking 2 years ago, basically. But like, I loved that scene where Giles is, where Angel's like, I need you to invite me in. And then Giles is like, I'm aware of that. And he has his crossbow. Mm-hmm. I distinctly remember saying like, why did he invite him in? You can have this conversation through the doorway.
Yes.
There's nothing stopping that.
Yeah.
If you're going to go through the trouble of getting your crossbow, stopping the SpaghettiOs that you're cooking, like, fucking, you don't need to invite him in. You can have him just through the doorway.
At worst, you have him back up into the courtyard. You step out of your doorway.
Mm-hmm.
So that you can easily jump back behind the border.
Yeah.
Don't get the border gone, because now he could just say, okay, I'm leaving, and then just come back.
Yeah.
Once they're invited in once, it's fair game. Like, you can't go to sleep tonight until Willow comes over, and she's got her own plans on Christmas Eve.
Yeah. Jewish, remember, Vance?
It's still Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, like when Angel shows up at Giles's place, like it was also interesting watching this and trying to piece together the context of where all the characters were at that point. Mm-hmm. Because when Angel shows up and Giles is all pissed off, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, right, yeah. How far removed are we from, Angel torturing Giles and killing Jenny Calendar, and how far removed are we from Buffy's betrayal of the Scooby Gang by not telling them that Angel's back?
I mean, if they can forgive Faith as quickly as they forgive Angel, I mean, they just forgive people.
Yeah, Willow had to go to a little bit of therapy, but didn't even need to finish it. She was forgiven.
Oh, I mean, she's forgiven by Oz the same way Tara forgives Willow. I mean, they just can't help it. They're like, you know what? Let's not work to get this thing back on track. I still want to do it. You're always going to love Xander, but yeah, fuck it.
I will say that I do enjoy that Xander hasn't really forgiven Angel at this point.
Yeah, but he kind of always he always butts heads.
But then by the end of the episode, he also falls in line too with Buffy.
Yeah, but that felt so Christmas that felt so TV show when he comes into the doorway and he's like, count me in too. It's like,
yeah.
You too?
Were you listening? Oh, how long were you standing there, dude?
What's on the back of his sweater? His like sweater vest has like a bunch of text on it. I was like, whoa, that's a crazy thing on the back.
His outfits in this episode are rough. He's got, and again, it's supposed to be scorching.
He's got like a button down and a full sweater vest.
He's got like a sweater on top of a t-shirt. Buffy's walking around in her little pea coats and her trench coats and stuff. Like,
oh, even Oz has a jacket on too when he goes over to her place.
Yeah, man. Like I mean, obviously they're filming this in, California. It does get cold in the winter here, but
but I mean, they make a point of it being super hot.
Yeah. It's so funny. Like the weatherman, like we see the weather report. Mm-hmm. It's scorching hot. And the scene after after that shot of the weatherman, you see Angel in a pea coat run into Buffy in a pea coat.
Yeah.
Record-breaking heat. They got like beanies and shit.
You wouldn't even have like the big coats either, Like I have like one big coat. I've worn it once. And that was when I went when I was back home.
Yeah, I have my big coat here and I've never worn it here.
Yeah.
Like the only time that I bring that anywhere is like when I'm flying back home for like Christmas or something.
It's like I should just leave it there.
Yeah, right?
Like why do I gotta pack that thing? And but let's stay on the Giles scene.
Yeah.
It's interesting that he saw Angel just looking behind him. Was like, what is it? You're acting weird. And just let him go.
Right.
And he just runs off and you're like, all right, I guess I'll just go back to my pot of stew.
Yeah.
What? What?
Yeah. Like he didn't have it in his mind that like, oh, maybe this is what he was coming over here about. Maybe that's what's so important.
Yeah.
And like to see the look of horror on Angel's face. What? You don't see her? See who? Sprint out the door.
He's like,
all right, whatever. Fuck that guy.
Your girlfriend I killed and put her in the bed. Remember? And he's like, shoot him. Just shot him. Just shoot him in the chest. Like, that's it. The powers that be, like, catch it.
Yeah.
It's not your time yet.
You have to have at least 5 seasons of your own show.
Oh, and we brought this up then is we questioned this in passion, how he was able to get into Giles's place and put Jenny Calendar up there.
Mm-hmm.
And then in this podcast, we went, okay, maybe they did that spell since then that Willow made it so that any vampire that's been invited in can't come in. That's why he can't come into Giles's place.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my question watching this episode now was I couldn't tell, I can't remember if he's been to Buffy's house since he came back from hell. But I was wondering how he was in Buffy's room in this episode. But I couldn't remember it when he comes back feral. I don't know how many episodes ago that was, and if she ever just took him into her house. Yeah. But I think he just ran away at that point and then started living in a castle. I can't track that. But yeah.
Now that you bring up the Buffy room scene.
Oh my God, that scene.
Him diving out that window. I know I talked about this.
We talked about that.
But I cannot get over how hard that stuntman's feet slammed against the window.
Yep, you talked about it.
I know, but like I forgot about it. And then seeing it again, I was like, oh man, that hurts so bad.
This in our previous podcast is where we started making jokes about having to fix another window. And we wish the window was closed when he jumped through it.
But like, also that scene is like very scary. Like Buffy's just
it's a rapey
slams
vibe.
The door on.
It's a murderous rapey vibe. They keep cutting to him looking at the bed.
Yeah, and he's just like sweating. He's looking at the bed and he's like,
and then Buffy goes, "Oh, hey Faith, hang out with my mom. I gotta go do something."
Yeah.
And Faith is mad at Buffy at this point because of the whole Angel thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then she's like, "I'm gonna go find Angel." She's like, "Okay, I'll just hang out with your mom." What? I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I was trying to piece together why Faith was like not on the good terms with Buffy at this point.
That was the question that we had in the previous podcast. And I think we got to, it was because she was mad to find out that Angel was back and that Buffy didn't tell her.
Yeah.
Which was like, Faith shouldn't be the most mad about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is also consistent with Faith's kind of like nobody, accepts me and I'm a loner.
Yeah.
I did like her. I'm going to this big party.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know about it but all the cool kids are invited. And you're not one of them.
Yeah. Just like, we should invite her over. She shouldn't have to stay in that dingy motel.
Yeah. What about Giles? Fuck no.
He doesn't hang out with a bunch of girls.
He doesn't want to hang out with a bunch of girls. He might fuck one of them on top of a cop car twice. Oh, man.
Great days start with great underwear. So if you're looking for something special, give Tommy John and gift a better day. Everything we make is meticulously crafted from breathable stretch fabric for the perfect fit, including our sleepwear for him and her. It feels good to give, but it feels great to give Tommy John. Find something for everyone and pick up something for yourself. Because at Tommy John, greatness is in our very fabric. Don't miss Tommy John's Cyber Monday sale. Save 40% site-wide at TommyJohn.com/Spotify. See site for details.
Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
It was nice going back and seeing like the high school years, though.
I love that little high school nook area that they used to meet up in. That area was cool because that wasn't there in the beginning, but then they found it later, and it's my high school kind of had a little thing like that, or a couple of places like that you could kind of like tuck away in and group session.
Yeah, it's nice. You got to see the library again. It was good, man. It was good seeing him back in high school.
And Cordy's only in it for a bit, but she just comes out classic Cordy, hits him hard and gets out. And
Xander, this is kind of like the first little inklings of Xander's home life being all kinds of fucked up. Well, not really the first little inklings, but some of the inklings.
It's the most kind of clear inkling.
Yeah, it's the specifically stated, like before we had some hints where he's like, oh no, my uncle, he's like Uncle Rory, he's a little bit of a drunk. But you can kind of piece it together. But this is like explicitly stated, like, you don't stay at your family's house because they're abusive drunks and they fight all the time.
Well, that's why he sleeps outside, which I also said in a previous podcast, and I'll say it now. Insane knowing that vampires exist.
I know that we brought this up later, and I guess we both misremembered it. But he doesn't even have a tent out there. He's just on the lawn. Because I remember us having a debate about like, can vampires enter his tent?
I know. I'm watching this. I'm expecting a tent and a flap, and my mind is just like, oh yeah, he's in a tent. I even picture one of those like little electric lanterns, Yeah. And then I'm seeing this, and he just has, and it looks like he had a plate of food just next to his that's been snowed over, and that's crazy. Also, especially because he has the basement.
Yeah.
You don't have to go outside. You just have to go downstairs.
I mean, maybe like they're...
No, he had to be outside so that the snow could happen.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm a Xander Harris defender, numero uno. I just don't get how people can see what his home life is like and not expect him to be fucked up. Like, he is going to be fucked up, dude.
Yeah, but I mean, you can still be mad at Faith, and she could have had a rough upbringing. I don't. Again, I mean, we've had this conversation on here. You can feel sympathy, but you can still dislike the things that the person does. So
Fair
I
enough.
don't like.
But just like
and this
seeing the snow pelting him in the face while he's on his lawn in a known vampire hellmouth town, and just like looking at that.
Here's what you have to. Here's the thing you have to think about. Cordelia says that in front of the group, right? Of why he actually does that, because he's trying to cover up. It's like if someone just is hanging out and they like their family's poor, or has less money or whatever, and you're trying to just like, they don't have the clothes, or they can't do the thing, or they make an excuse why they can't go to this movie or dinner or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then you get called out in front of someone, and then your whole like facade is ruined, right?
Yeah.
His friends don't go, hey, let's invite Xander over. Willow doesn't think, oh yeah, my parents are out of town. He's a friend of mine. She's like, nah, I'm gonna get some tonight. Buffy's like, oh yeah, let's invite Faith.
Buffy's mom is like, she can't stay at a dingy hotel. It's like, at least Faith has a fucking roof over her.
None of them
never thought about that.
None of them say anything. No one invites Xander over.
Oh my God, dude, that's so true.
Yeah.
And I feel like Willow would know about this.
Willow would know about this. She should. Willow inviting him over is a little tricky if she's trying to patch things up with Oz. Yeah. But Buffy, once it becomes Faith is coming over, then you invite Xander. Then you make it a thing.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
That is so insane. Now that you brought that up, that is crazy that they didn't, especially Buffy.
They heard, I mean, she should know Deadbeat. This is pre-super Deadbeat Dad. I know we've been chatting a little bit about that on Discord. But the dad, Buffy used to spend the summers in LA with their dad between seasons like 1 and 2 or 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Was it? No, between 1 and 2. Because 2 and 3, that's when she came back as Anne or whatever. That's when she went to LA. But she used to stay with the dad.
She went to literal hell, which is
is
just a sweatshop.
Yeah. and the dad used to take her to ice capades and whatever. So they had a relationship, and he just doesn't show. The dad does not show up after Joyce's death. It's implied he might call.
Yeah.
But that's about it. And that is insane. You have 2 daughters, and it didn't seem like he was completely absentee fully, but he's always in the flashbacks and the dreams. He's in all the like fantasy parts of that stuff.
Yeah, like whenever Buffy's having a nightmare or whatever, it's like her dad is present. So she has a lot of trauma surrounding like the lack of a father figure. And like that's kind of why she latches onto Giles so hard, I guess.
Which I get as a structure for the show, but you know, I don't know.
But yeah, Cordy coming in. This episode also, like going back to this, I was like, man, Oz was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think in the previous podcast I said they're writing him very consistently, which I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick out like until he like goes all Veruca werewolf type thing. Like, it's hard to pick out like, I know that I always used to say that he's like perfect character or whatever, flawless, but like, they really didn't give him a lot of chinks in his armor. You know what I mean? Like, he was just like a good guy.
Yeah.
Like, and as much as people talk about how Tara was like, oh, Tara was like the best, most wholesome, nice character in the show. Like, I mean, Willow can pick them. She had 2 good ones.
2 good ones, hurt them real bad, and they just came right back to her.
Yeah.
Cheated on one and mind raped another. And they, Yeah, and
then she's just like, she does her little pouty face. I was, and then they're just like, all right, that Willow charm, everybody.
Yeah. They just, it was wild watching this one after having seen the full series and seeing just go, yeah, you're always going to have a connection with Xander because you've always known him and you've always, you have this thing that's never going to go away. But I still like you a lot and I'm ready to get back with you. I don't care. Yeah. And I was just like, oh man, people just get back. Because Tara was like, we can do this whole thing, but like, let's get back together.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
And one episode later, she's shot in the chest.
Yeah. And,
but yeah, man, like she gets get out of jail free cards a lot.
So I had a question that could be slightly controversial.
Okay, let's hear it.
Is Willow bisexual by the literal definition of it? Because I know once she ends up with Tara, she's like all the way in.
Yeah.
But she's had strong feelings for both Xander and Oz.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen her. I mean, even the robot that
even Giles, she had a little crush on at a time.
Yeah, I feel like in 1998 to 2003.
Oh yeah, it was like once you go lady, you don't go boy.
Yeah, it was like they don't have the full lexicon of ideas that we have now. Yeah. And I also think that there's like, even now, there's like kind of a stigma around bisexuality of like, you fucking lean one way. I've never seen you with a woman.
Make a decision.
Yeah. But I think you're onto something where because she did have strong feelings about Xander for forever. She did. And
they have teased like when she has, because the wish verse it's doppelganger land, I think, when we find out like, oh, she's like, oh yeah, it's a little. That's when they kind of have the inkling in it.
I think I'm a little gay.
Yeah. I think she's just a little gay. Yeah.
Yeah. And Angel's like, no. Because she's full blown.
Because we brought it up in one episode when she's talking to like Anya or something. And she's like, oh, phallic penises. Ugh. And you're like, right? Did it just go away? Because you like, it's fine.
She dated Oz from high school to college. Like, yes. It's not like...
And pined over Xander from adolescent through high school.
I mean,
that could be whatever. I mean, I don't know enough about... Yeah. That's why I was asking the question. But it does seem like she would be more fluid if... And I understand them not making her go back because then they make it seem like it's just a phase. They didn't want to play the college phase situation, which I understand not doing that. Yeah. But... I'm thinking outside of the grand scheme of things in the show, it seems like she would be more fluid then.
See, I could forgive the Xander crush because she and Xander like never actually had sex, and it could be like the innocent puppy love type of thing. But Oz and her have sex, from what I remember. Like they have sex.
They had sex, and she was balling when he left.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it can change though. I don't know.
I guess like every time she had sex with Oz, was she like, ew, like I like you, but ew.
That's the extreme thing, because there are people that are like identify as like gay, same sex now that have had heterosexual relationships prior to it. So yeah, I guess that's where it's at, really.
One of my good buddies in college was a gay guy, but he had sex with women before, and I mean. To his credit, he was like, somebody at one of our parties asked him like, did you like having sex with a woman when you were doing it? And he was like, I'll be honest with you, like vagina feels way better than like, it's like it felt better, but I'm just attracted to men.
Yeah. The parts match.
Yeah. He was very much like, for that, it's self-lubricating. Like, I'm not going to argue with it. Like it felt better, but I am gay.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
not attracted to the,
so maybe there's a little bit of that going on with Willow where she was like, yeah, but I
societal constructs and stuff too.
Yeah.
No, just, I'm not hard and fast on any of it. I just felt like it's something to talk about.
Also, like, I'm speaking from like a rather, ignorant standpoint too, where I'm just like, I don't know the answers.
Yeah.
But just interesting to talk about. And again, like with Willow and Oz, like Willow was ready to like, hey, I want to have sex with you, Oz, tonight. Like, And the good guy Oz being like, hey, this is forced. Like, I don't want it to be because you think that this is going to like get you back in my good graces or whatever. Like, we'll do it when we're ready, but like, let's just chill.
Yeah, let's go fully clothed into the bedroom.
Yeah.
You asked on the podcast, which was a good question. What time is it? Because they're saying sunrise.
Yeah.
And
everybody's awake. Like, Buffy's standing on the cliffside with Angel.
And how long did it take her to find Angel? Because it's no way Faith came over at like 4 a.m. It had to be like 7 p.m., 8 p.m. late if she comes over. And then the next thing we see, it's sunrise, which 6 a.m. earliest.
Mm-hmm.
What? Buffy's been gone all night, Joyce? And you're like, Snow.
Yeah.
Where's your daughter?
Up with Faith.
Yeah. And
Willow and Oz just up. Xander's the only one sleeping.
Yeah.
The only one with some goddamn sense.
Sense enough not to go into his basement. Yeah, I swear my memory had him in a tent.
I know. Like, when I saw that the snow just pelting him in the face, I was like, oh, wow, this is so much worse than I remember.
Because I don't remember, I listened to the podcast, I don't remember us talking about the tent. Maybe we talked about the tent, but I do remember us having a conversation of a tent in it, but I'm not sure if it was on that podcast.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, like the passage of time has to be crazy because then Angel's sniffing the sunrise. Buffy's like, it's only a few minutes away.
Which is not because it's so dark.
And then Angel is like, I bet you some of the kids are just waking up right now. Meanwhile, Faith and Joyce are out there like, whoa, Snow.
They've been hanging out small talking for 8 hours.
Dude, what's that small talk like?
So
Faith and Joyce? God.
Because she knows she's a slayer at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild.
But Oz is giving off the guy from that episode of Girls. I'm a man and I know how to do things vibe.
Oh my God, yeah.
Jorma Tacone.
I'm a man and I know how to do things. God, with Allison Williams or whatever.
Yeah. What a show, man.
God.
They do
get an appearance.
Oh, you go ahead.
We get an appearance from one of our favorite side characters, Willie the Snitch.
Yes. In the previous podcast, I don't think I gave this enough credit, even though we did praise it. But just a scene, like he needs to be in this whole episode. Like this is the most Christmassy moment in the whole episode for me.
Hey, kid. Merry Christmas.
This feels like a special Jiminy Cricket type moment. It
has that tinge of Christmas, like Christmas carol. Hey, kid, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Like a nice little and then they go outside and they're like, it's so fucking hot out. Xander in a sweater.
So fucking hot. This is dumb. You need my help? No? All right, fine. I'm going to go get my sleeping bag unfurl it.
Yeah. I did enjoy Xander's threatening, trying to be threatening. Didn't he actually slam Willie's head into the bar at one point or something?
No. What, this episode? No.
No, not this episode, but maybe later. But
I think you're thinking. I think you're thinking Riley. Riley went crazy that one time when he was when the experiments were going tough and he was on drugs. He was on magic drugs, but not the sexy kind.
But yeah, man, I miss Willie the Snitch. I mean, they go back to demon bars.
I think I Googled what happened to him, and then I don't think I finished reading.
Yeah,
I think it was
probably afraid of spoilers or something.
No, I mean, I Googled it now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not then, because I didn't think he was done at that point.
Yeah,
I forget what his last episode really was, but because he doesn't even show back up because the last time they go to Willie's bar is some other guy at the bar.
I fucking love Willie though.
It's when I think it's in Conversations with Dead People or whatever, or No, it's one episode where I think Spike goes to that bar and there's a different person working it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the guy has such a unique look and like distinct, like he is a character.
Well, I just know him mostly from Bad Boys and Curb Your Enthusiasm as Mocha Joe. And he's like the like doorman bellhop in the original Bad Boys movie. So I've always known him from that. And he just has this like energy and vibe to him. It's just so good when he says Merry Christmas, dude. It's just so good.
Merry Christmas, kid. Oh, all right. I like that guy. And he was apparently in, do you remember the sitcom Becker?
Oh, yeah,
Ted Danson?
Yeah, I remember
He was
Becker.
in Becker, apparently.
Yeah.
I remembered fucking loving that show.
I did not remember loving Becker, but I've seen some of it. That thing ran for a long time. Ted Danson.
I know.
Ted Danson's been on some shows, man. Between The Good Place, Becker, which is not even like a crazy hit, but it ran for a while. Cheers. He's in Curb Your Enthusiasm also.
Yeah, man.
He also was in he did another show with Galifianakis and Schwartz or something that was on HBO. They were like little detectives or something.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, I never really got into that.
What it's called.
But
fuck.
Yeah, I mean, he just.
What was that?
Ted
show
Danson's
called?
career, man. Just.
Yeah, he's just a great actor. Like in The Good Place, he's excellent.
Yeah.
He's excellent.
Yeah, he's great.
3 Men and a Little Lady? Come on.
He's in both of the 3 Men and a Baby and 3 Men and a Little Lady. Yeah.
He's in Saving Private Ryan. Oh, he was like the lead in CSI for a long time.
Oh my God. Yeah, he was on one of those
Remember
shows,
that?
wasn't
The HBO show that we were talking about is called Bored to Death.
he? Yes.
Yeah, man. Ted Danson.
You know what we got in this episode that we don't get in the later seasons?
It's
just a classic Scooby's research montage.
Oh, man, is it montage?
It's a classic. They get the books, they get them out, they get a pizza delivered.
Well, they don't need a montage in later seasons because Dawn will just open up a random page of a book and get it.
All the books have been exploded and burnt up, and they still have every single thing they need.
Yeah.
There's no library.
Yeah, man.
I mean, after this episode in Gingerbread, they burn a bunch of books.
Yeah.
The next episode, it's going to be a bunch of books being burned. But
this
we'll never have it.
This episode is sandwiched between two classic Boys Watching Buffy episodes.
Yeah.
And even this one gets referenced throughout the entirety of our fucking run as a podcast.
It was a great moment where we connected this to season 7.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my.
Like, wasn't that the thing in Amends? And I was like, no.
And the reason I remember it is just because I remember they were in the Christmas tree thing. And they have the line of, well, nothing can grow above or be beneath it.
Yep. And I was like, are they going to say as above, so, or from beneath you it devours or some shit?
But in the previous podcast, you brought up, why didn't they just do it in like an empty lot or something? Or like I brought up one of the many empty buildings that Sunnydale has for some reason, even though it seems like the population is way too big for it to be this many empty buildings.
Dude. And also getting the exterior shot of Angel's mansion once again. That place is fucking huge, dude.
Yeah, I don't understand like what's happening with that place.
That place is enormous. Like,
and
I know that we talked about
there's
this.
abandoned places everywhere, but it seems like there's just so many abandoned places.
Well, we talked about it. Somebody brought it up about season 7 about the lack of diversity for the sets. Like this episode alone, the high school, library, Giles's house, Buffy's house, Angel's house, fucking Xander's lawn.
Like, and if with Buffy's house, you
Main
got
Street, Willie's bar, like so many sets.
You get 2 rooms in Willow's house alone.
Yeah.
In the high school, you get the library, the hallway where they go to the lockers. You get the that little nook that they go to. You get separate areas in the library. You get the upstairs. They have that upstairs place, that little walk around. It's so much diversity and stuff to see. And I noticed watching the opening credits, man, the imagery is so much different. Like, right? It's so wild. The stuff that you're watching in that montage is insane.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't even realize how many different sets until I'm like listing them out. Like, they went everywhere in this one episode.
Yeah, it's visually just appealing to look at. Because you're just not like living room, a bunch of people standing around, cut to reaction shots. Blah, you know?
Yeah.
I'm happy someone brought that up, because that's one of those things that you might not notice. Like, you know that you don't like something for a reason, but you don't know why something feels stale. And that's what it is. It's just like, once you click that in, the sets are just like 3 sets for a whole episode. And you're like, this is not. Yeah. I mean, and we even have them walking through the Christmas tree part. You get get Main Street like twice, because you get Willie's Bar, daylight, and then you get the end shot. You get the bluff or whatever cliff that they're standing
Kingsman's
on.
Bluff. Apparently that's the same place where the Willow gets dark. Willowy.
Okay, I just don't know how close anything is. But I guess since Buffy found him there, and it's almost, I guess she's been running around the whole city trying to find Angel.
You want to hear another theory that I read about? Or I don't know if this is confirmed or whatever, but sure.
Go for it.
So, you know, the guy that's talking to Angel about how, like, it was almost artistic the way that you like laid their bodies there like that. Apparently, according to this thing that I read, that guy was supposed to have been killed while Angel was Angelus last season, because he's wearing modern clothes. Like, you know, the other 2 people that Angel is being haunted by are like, you know, 1800s garb. But this guy just has like a regular suit. So I remember us looking at that and like, who the fuck is that guy? Are we going to see a flashback of that? But yeah, the theory was like, that's something that happened off screen that Angelus was doing in season 2. And I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
I like that little factoid.
Yeah, I didn't need any more information from him. I just like that guy's delivery and talking about how awful Angelus was, and we know he's awful because we watched him do awful shit.
Yeah, so. It lines up with what he did to Jenny Calendar. Like, the guy was talking about how he saw his kids just like lined up there, like he thought they were asleep.
And we've already
them and they're dead.
We've already learned about him, what he did to Drusilla already too at this point. So like, we know that guy is a problem. And then we just see him shake the shit out of Buffy, and we're like, come on, work it out, you two crazy kids. At that
and we're like, something about this. I'm a Bangel.
That's why it's Bangle.
Yeah.
Oh, we do get that sex dream, man. That intense.
Yeah, this is a
perfect Christmas story. Perfect Christmas story. What most Christmas stories are missing is just.
I mean, it's also a throwback to when Buffy had like prophetic visions too in her dreams.
Yeah.
That kind of went away.
We did ask the question why she assumes her dream is a connection of Angel and not just a dream. She's like, I was in Angel's dream. It's like, or you were just dreaming.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there was stuff that I saw that I couldn't possibly know. It's like, yeah,
that's
could be made up. Yeah. Like, for all the times that Giles like never believed Buffy, like he goes full on with her here.
Yeah. This is this heightened my frustration with Giles too. He reads and goes like, well, the first evil is like the worst thing in the world ever. And we found it in this book. And then we cut to season 7. And it's like, what is this thing we're fighting? What information do we have about it? I don't know. What is this thing? I'm like, so the first evil showed up and you didn't decide like, hey, what the fuck is the first evil doing in Sunnydale? Maybe I should like get on this.
Mm-hmm.
And a vampire that killed your girlfriend is back in town at the same time, and you're not like all in. You're not all in on this research.
Yeah.
Like they should have been first evil. He's like, done. Here it is. Everything you need to know. Done. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah. I mean, they even bring up, like, hey, we got the harbingers, aka the bringers. We got the first evil. It's before demons. It's before humans. It's like the essence of evil. And then season 7, they're like, how do we still get information dumps about the first?
Yeah.
It's like, we already,
should
know. Well, I mean, I get that they need to remind the audience. I definitely forgot it.
Season 7 is so weird because the first evil tells us the limitations of the first evil. Like when Warren's like talking to Andrew, he's like, remember, I'm not corporeal. I can't touch things. I can only be people that are dead. It's like, why are you telling us the rules? Like, keep that a secret.
Yeah.
Like, the first evil sucks so bad. She's like trying to get Angel to kill Buffy, and he goes, I'm going to kill myself. And it's like, well, that's not the plan, but I guess that'll work. Like, you're the first evil. You're just like, I guess that'll work. I don't know what I'm doing.
It accomplishes 0 of your goals.
Yeah. So, and then at the end, none of them are dead, and the first evil disappears for years.
5 years.
Insane. And the thing is, when Buffy meets her the first time, she's like, I don't care. Like, not afraid.
Buffy's like so sassing. Oh, what? And you're evil? Oh, is it something evil? Give me a break.
And then in season 7, we're supposed to be like, feel like this is a threat. This thing that can't touch anything.
I mean, the first evil was brought back as well by 3 bringers.
Yeah.
3 of them.
Well, I don't even know.
And then in season 7, there's like infinite.
Like, so the bringers bring the first evil back, but why? Where's the first evil that it can't just exist on its own? Is it just kill the bringers and it goes away? It's
I think
the worst
that
villain.
They can bring the first evil back whenever they want. Doesn't take much effort to like bring the first evil back. But the reason why they bring it back such hardcore and full force in season 7 is because of the disturbance in the Force. And it's trying to get corporeal now. But why didn't they try and kill all the potentials here? Like,
I don't know. Because
I guess they couldn't because of the disturbance in the Force.
They didn't know it existed.
Yeah, potentials didn't.
I mean, the disturbance.
The
disturbance in the Force thing is null and void to me because there's already 2 Slayers, and it's the only time that it's been known to ever have 2 Slayers exist at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I also thought about is how Buffy's power comes from like this mystical demon thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yet you can inject her with some like serum and take her powers away.
I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole last night when I was just like researching Amends and like stuff to talk about today. And like I started to read a little bit of snippet stuff from the comics, and Vance, it gets so much crazier.
I know.
I was like, what?
At that point, you're all, like, you don't have any oversight, no network. Like, you don't have to worry about sets. You can just go wild in the comics.
Yeah.
And why not?
Yeah, I mean, I was going through some stuff because, like, I was on the like Amends Buffy wiki page or whatever, and it was like, you know, this is the first appearance of the first evil. So I like clicked on that blue link and was like, let me see what's up with the first evil, and then it started to mention some of the stuff that's like going on in the comics, and I was like, wait, what is the Seed of Wonder? Did they talk? What is that? And I click on it, and then it's like, then you're into comic book territory. Mm-hmm. And I was reading about the Seed of Wonder, and I was just like, no fucking what?
What is the Seed of Wonder? I gotta hear. What did you get?
I think the Seed of Wonder is the essence of all magic in the world, and you can destroy it, and then there's a world with no magic in the comic books or something. Like, it gets wild, man.
I I would absolutely want to destroy the magic thing, but would that be a hindrance?
I feel like if you're evil, you'd want to destroy the magic thing.
But the magic... Here's the thing. If there's no magic, you can't have an evil witch Willow, which is the most powerful thing. But you also can't have a good witch Willow. So I think getting rid of all magic, would that stop demons that can cast magical spells? Because if you're Buffy, you just want it to be a fisticuffs fight. And if it's a fisticuffs fight, you got a good chance.
Yeah.
Once these demons can like teleport and move and force push you, like I don't think Buffy can beat up Amy the Witch.
Yeah, I don't think like magic is the most powerful force in the Buffyverse, I feel like. Yeah, I guess even if you are a good guy, like just to be safe, you would want to get rid of the Seed of Wonder.
Yeah.
But apparently the Seed of Wonder predates humans and even the first evil. And the earth itself was created from the seed.
Jenny Callender's like la 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 no 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 la 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 no 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 no.
In the beginning, the world was inhabited by demons, aka the Old Ones. And then I started to read more about like who the Old Ones are, and the Old Ones was one of the things that the mayor turns into, and I was just like, oh my god.
So that was my fault for thinking that 7 seasons of Buffy would give us the lore, and it's really in like in comic season 10 that we get the lore of what happened in this Buffyverse. Got it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, that makes sense.
That's why we gotta read the comics, man.
You should have read the comics before you started the show. You would have been better.
Idiots. That's because the Seed of Wonder and the powers that be and the Old Ones were all in cahoots.
Yeah, I know. Season 7, the potential's just the first evil, just not working, man.
But I gotta say, going back and watching this, I gotta reiterate, it might just be because season 7 kicked the shit out of me, but I was like, Amends, not as bad as I remember. Maybe not the worst episode. Maybe not the episode that everybody hates. It is melodramatic.
Yeah.
It is very soap opera-y. They do try and have like a weird Christmassy type theme to it.
Yeah.
But not that bad.
It's a fine episode. And I listened to our last podcast. Like when I listened to Restless, I was like, oh man, we're going to come hard. I'm like, I don't think we did that bad on that. And this one, again, we didn't talk like this was the worst episode ever in that podcast. You started bringing up like it was the worst episode in later episodes.
Yeah, I think I got more harsh on it as like a joke, and then that joke just kind of was like a self-fulfilling prophecy in my mind of like, oh, this is the worst episode. And then going back, I was just like, it's okay.
Yeah, it's a fine episode. It's fine. I mean, the ending is a little forced to try to shoehorn in this feel-good ending. But yeah, no, we don't. I've enjoyed going back and listening to our podcast. I enjoy our podcast. I
call us biased, but we do good stuff, we think.
I'm listening to it. I'm like, oh boy, we're going to go in hard. And we're not. And you know what I think it is? I think people have this expectation of like the people that like Restless, the people that really like Amends. They go in there like, oh man, I really hope they just like gush over this episode. And then we don't. And because we're not gushing over it, it seems like, wait, you're not gushing over this episode that's like my favorite episode ever? But we're not also coming down on it. Like, we're like, oh, this is fine.
I don't know, man. I always try to be even-handed with it.
I mean, we've gushed over episodes before, though.
We've definitely gushed over episodes, but...
Like, I mean, Gingerbread is coming up.
Exactly. Exactly. But, like, I know I was harsher on Restless last episode, because watching it again and like trying to think about like, oh, this is like an important linchpin episode. It's going to foreshadow so much.
Well, I think you got too locked in on the foreshadow thing. And I don't think, I wish I brought this up last episode, but I don't think the Restless stuff, I don't think that episode was meant to foreshadow as much as it is just metaphors for things. And that's the way I was watching it. I wasn't watching it to see like what stuff would pay off later. And I don't think it was written for that point. There's a couple foreshadowing things, but that's not the point of that episode, but you're like so locked in on the foreshadowing.
Yeah, I think I was just like, what you brought up is like, so many people were like, oh, Joss was they're giving Joss a lot more credit than like as foreshadowing versus going back and re-referencing.
Yeah, but also that episode's just not even a foreshadow episode. It's all like metaphors and stuff. So yeah, that's why Restless doesn't bother me that much about the stuff that doesn't line up or whatever. So
I stand by that's just like a hat on a hat repetitive.
Oh no, I agree I agree with that part of the epilogue.
Yeah.
That it's just,
and that's why I was like, yeah, this is
that
just, I still don't like it and maybe don't like it even more. But Amends,
it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's good. It's decent. It's not my favorite episode of all time now, but I think again, like I said, just maybe the repetition of that joke being like Amends, the episode that nobody likes.
Which paid off great when we found out how important Amends was later. I mean, we can't script that. That just random. Like, we had no idea the first evil was coming back. And that's insane that it's from this episode. Insane.
Yeah.
I do wish it was Jenny Calendar, though. I just think Robia, what's her last name now?
Robia Lamort.
Yeah, I think she just has a vibe to her that would have been real fun.
Yeah, and again, on record, Jenny Calendar is a smoke show.
Mm-hmm.
Been on record saying that a lot. So I definitely missed her. But I don't know, man. There's like very Christian actors in Hollywood that still do roles.
Yeah. I think it was like she just got into it because she's still going to the cons now and stuff. So I think it was like right when you first get in. It's it reminds me of Isaac Hayes quitting South Park when he became a Scientologist. And they were like, dude, we make fun of everything. Like, we make fun of Mormonism, Christianity, Judaism. We're gonna do Michael Scientology.
Yeah.
Yes, because Michael Jackson is his own religion.
He is. Dude, I know a girl that fucking straight up just like worships Mike. Like she like went to his grave and she was like, I got so emotional. I started crying while I was at it. It's like, word.
I remember watching his like concert videos back then, and it was just girls would be screaming and passing out.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it is like a religious experience for a lot of people.
And I get moved by music, music can hit me, but I just am not a people worshiper.
Yeah.
Like I can't do that. The Bayhive, the Swifties. I can't put people that, like, I can appreciate someone's work and like admire their like what they do to a high level, but I can never get on that level of like they are this thing. I don't know.
Yeah, like when people post on social media when a celebrity dies, and it'd be like a celebrity that I haven't thought about in like 15 years, and it's like, oh my God, the world is missing such a. I'm like, where? I can't think of one celebrity that would die that would like devastate me.
I think it'd hit me and it'd be like shocking, but a lot of the times it's someone that hasn't been in the media. Like if like Al Pacino dies now, you're like, oh fuck, and it's like you guys haven't thought about him in a couple of years, right? It's just like, but I mean, I know he's prevalent in. I hope like this timing of this podcast release doesn't coincide with that, but like he's been in so much stuff. He's been a part of your life and like movies and stuff. So like there's something there, Yeah,
but I mean, I can feel like when Chadwick Boseman died, like, oh man, that sucks. He was really young.
Yeah,
but I'm not like, I need a day.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, you got anything else to say about Amends, Vance?
We did not end this on the happy note that
Amends
tried to. It's like slap her and then walk hand in hand.
Vance, you want to walk hand in hand and through some soap?
Here's a question. Where do you think they're going?
Yeah. Back to the Christmas tree lot. Pick one out.
Yeah,
now that they can have some real snow on it. Because Joyce was like, you want to get one with fake snow on it?
Do you want to bring... Is she bringing him home for Christmas? It's Christmas morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Bringing him back to Giles's house.
Have we had other Christmas episodes?
Nope. This is the only one.
Strange. Because one of my thoughts was, this is not the best Christmas type episode. And I think there's just more fun ideas, like a Frosty the Snowman that comes alive, like a real Grinch. Like they could just like, you know, I mean, granted they do gingerbread next, so they're already doing fairy tale stuff. But yeah, it just feels like there's fun stuff to be had with Christmas. And I know they don't want to touch, they can't say they want to stay away from religion as much because they also have a lot of Willow being like, I'm Jewish. Remember, I'm Jewish. I'm Jewish. And it's like, okay, if you're going to do that, you can do the Christmas thing also. But now play with that. Like, play with that and have like a Christmassy, fun, silly, like take something from Christmas, like the Drummer Boy or something. Just anything, and just kind of make like a season 1 level.
Krampus or something.
Yeah. And that would have been huge because Krampus wasn't mainstream at this point. If they did a Krampus one, because boy, did they come out with a ton of Krampus stuff after.
Bro.
Like, that one Krampus movie is good. The one with Adam Scott. That was really good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that one was pretty good. Was Dave Koechner in that too?
Dave Koechner was in that. Was which the lady from Sixth Sense and Hereditary, was she in that too?
Oh, Toni Collette?
Yeah. Yeah, she is in that.
She was in that.
Yeah. I mean, that movie was great.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like, I mean, especially in the burlesque community, there is around Christmas, there is like at least one Krampus act on every show.
Yeah. But I mean, Krampus wasn't even in the like zeitgeist of American knowledge until like 2012 or something.
Yeah.
And then everybody came out with a Krampus movie.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Buffy would have been a way to go, Buffy. You could have been ahead of your time, but you weren't.
Yeah, it's just, I felt like, I just don't know why they brought the first evil for a Christmas thing. Like, if anything, just make it a Grinchy type thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it could have been Christmas Carol. They said that this is supposed to be kind of like that with the ghosts of Christmas past, like haunting Angel, but...
Yeah. But they made... I mean, him reading it, like, this is the first evil that has ever existed, the most dangerous thing in the world. And Buffy's just like, get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the first is supposed to be like the Buffyverse version of Satan.
Yeah.
Like, all evil.
That's why
in the world.
I mean, for this to be why Romeo Scott doesn't, or I forget her, I keep forgetting her. Lamort. For this to be the thing that got her where they couldn't use her again and she didn't want to come back. Granted, she's been killed off. You don't need to technically bring her back that much. But it's like, this isn't even a good portrayal of the most evil thing ever. Gnarl is scarier.
Disposed of
the gentlemen are worse.
Yeah. You know what? I want to bring this up too. Remember in Conversations with Dead People when the first evil is like haunting Dawn and it's like they got Joyce and everything?
Mm-hmm.
The first evil is able to like force push Dawn around. You know, they talk about how it can't touch anything, but it's like throwing Dawn around the room at certain points.
And the microwaves going off and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's a
it
lot
can affect electric currents. This is part of my reading last night, to be honest. I was like, oh yeah, why didn't it make use of that? Like, it's breaking windows. It's turning the TV on and off. It's making microwaves explode. It's literally like throwing Dawn around the room at certain points. Blood on the walls.
Where was actually doing a lot of stuff. That's why I was worried. I wasn't sure if the Joyce thing was a real thing or not, because everything that's happening in that does not track with what we learned that the first evil's powers are.
Yeah, they make it like
wreck that house. And later when all the potentials are there, she can do nothing.
Yeah, they make it like they nerf it so hard, but in Conversation with Dead People, it's like fucking up that house.
Yeah.
Like it can't touch anything, but it can absolutely affect the physical world to an extent that like it didn't even really seem like it needed Caleb to blow up the Watchers thing. Like they could have just made the microwaves explode in there or something.
Was it using that demon that was on? Was that all just visual trickery? the demon that was on top of the Joyce character, because we haven't seen the first evil be multiple people at the same time. We've seen it turn into people, but never like be 3 people. So when you're looking at it, it should be able to. I mean, first evil should be able to do anything.
Yeah, based on what I read about it, it can be multiple people simultaneously. It can be in like different spots.
Mm-hmm.
But like, obviously, like in this episode, Jenny Calendar's touching Angel. And then in Conversation with Dead People, it's fucking the house up. It can affect the physical world, and they're making it seem like it can't.
Yeah. I will say this episode does track with when Willie the Snitch tells him that the demons from the underground have been fleeing Sunnydale because something real evil has been here. That does track, because I always was wondering why the demons are leaving. Yeah. And even the first speech is like, I'm the thing that the evil things are afraid of. And I'm like, okay. That's not like, a good, that's not a good quality to have.
That monsters have nightmares about.
Yeah. It's not the best thing to be the first evil and then all evil things are afraid of you also. But I guess that's what you want, to be feared, but you kind of need your henchmen. And vampires are great lackeys. I will say Adam knew what he was doing.
They fall in line so fast.
Like Spike shows up to town. He's like, all right, this is my gang. Angelus comes back and he's like, I got a gang of people. Adam's like, hey, you're a vampire. Why are you afraid of churches? That's stupid. Follow me. Vampires are sheeple. And it's great.
I gotta say, it has been fun watching YouTube essays and stuff, like other people's opinions about stuff.
I have not dove down that rabbit hole yet.
Yeah, it's been fun seeing some Reddit posts, like, and then like even going down to learning about the Seed of Wonder and shit, and like some of the comic book stuff that I've seen. I'm just like, Jesus.
Maybe we have different definitions of fun.
We definitely do. And on that note, that is going to be our episode on Amends, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. Hop on Discord. Let us know what you thought about this rewatch situation. Hope you're enjoying those, because we have some really exciting things. We're in talks about a cool thing that we hopefully can make happen. But hop on Discord. Let us know what you thought. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/boyswatchingbuffy. And I guess we should say what rewatch we're going to be doing next week. We had a debate before we started recording. We were like, what should we do? Like, there was a couple of episodes that we're thinking about, because I don't know. I think what's interesting about the rewatches is like getting some new information and seeing where we were and like how things shook out with all these characters and everything. So I think we decided next time we're going to go over one of our favorite episodes, School Hard.
Yeah. I can't wait to see why we hate this episode.
First appearance of Spike. We get a little bit of like what the backstory between him and Angel. Like that was like, and we see him get bonked on the head with an axe, I think.
Oh, we got Snyder thinking at the meth heads. The Snyder, that was a tease. The Snyder with the government, with the mayor situation and the cover up that led to a bigger. We're like, oh boy, this is huge.
Yeah, we get to see the last glimmers of the Anointed One as well.
Oh, yeah.
Forgot about the Anointed One.
That was the best part about that. It was like, great. that storyline was going nowhere.
Such unceremonious dumping of that. Like what was supposed to be a big thing.
Oh man, we're gonna get some real crazy Drusilla, aren't we?
Oh, gosh. You know it.
Jeez, she's
cannot wait.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna be doing School Hard next. Look forward to that. Instagram is @BoysWatchingBuffy. Emails boyswatchingbuffy@gmail.com. Again, patreon.com/boyswatchingbuffy. We're doing Boys Watching Angel. We're doing Jawbreaker this month. Joe's Fashion Report /Corner. Haven't been able to get Tata's for now. Sat down in a seat to record some new stuff, but that's definitely coming. I've got it all queued up and planned. If you want to get a shout out, Apple Podcast 5-star rating and review, Spotify 5-star rating, take a screenshot of it, send it to us. Amazon wishlist, we got merch. And stay tuned next time for when we rewatch School Hard.
Yeah, I like to look at the stars, you know, feel the whole nature vibe.
I thought you slept outside to avoid your family's drunken Christmas fights.
Yes, and that was a confidence I was hoping you would share with everyone.
Seltzer Kings.
Podcasts.